Good afternoon, everybody. Now, I would like to open the meeting of the third commission, selection commission of the heads of customs of Ukraine. First, I would like to welcome all 6 commissioners, as well as representatives of international organizations, the public, media, and journalists attending this session. Today's agenda is very simple. After this one, I will ask you to adopt the agenda. Then we'll have the adoption of the rules of procedure. Then the introduction or presentation of the draft rules of competition. And finally, or any other business. But so far, I haven't received any request from the commissioners under this agenda item. But let's see when we arrive at the point. Well, so this is the draft agenda, and I'd like to invite the commissioners to endorse this draft agenda.
Да.
Yes.
Так.
Yes.
Fine with me.
Yes, no comments from my side.
Thank you very much. With the endorsement of all commissioners, now the agenda is adopted. The first item after the adoption of the agenda would be adoption of the rules of procedure. I would like to recall that at a previous commission meeting on 8th of October, the draft rules of procedures were introduced for public comments. And the Commission has since then received comments, and we reviewed, and well, we made necessary adjustment to our draft rules of procedures. Now, I would like to give the floor to the Secretary of the Commission, Mr. Oleg Timikev, to present the final draft for adoption, including a summary of the comments and our responses. Oleg, you have the floor.
Дякую, пане головуючий.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, dear members of the Commission, representatives of international organizations, public and mass media, everyone who is now with us and who is watching this broadcast. I'm grateful for the comments provided to the Union of Employers, to the Civil Council under the State Customs Service, to the Council of Business Ombudsman, ANTAC, Civil Society Organization, and the Federation of Employers of Ukraine. All the materials and comments provided to us are published at the website of the Commission, at the website of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. Comments from most organizations were about expectations regarding the new head of the Customs Service and the process of selection. The Anti-Corruption Center, CSO, has provided comments directly regarding the draft rules of procedure. All suggestions have been discussed and analyzed. Most of them have been either partially or completely taken into account, and some of them have been rejected because they will be taken into account in other documents. And one comment was not taken into account. And now I would like to focus more on proposals received from Anti-Corruption Action Center. We had 6, not that many, so let's discuss them in detail. The first suggestion was about clause 2.1.9, where it was clearly suggested to submit the deadline for the publication of the results of each stage of the competition. We did not take into account this suggestion because regarding the procedure, we will have another document that will be the procedure of the competition's conduct. And the procedure will clearly stipulate deadlines for the publication of results. Then there was a suggestion regarding clause 4.1 to supplement the list of participants meeting with representatives of the public. Our meetings and the meeting which we have right now are open for everyone, including representatives of the public. But there was this suggestion, we have added it, or we have added this notion for this representatives of the public into the ROP. Then there was a suggestion about probably clause 4.2. It is necessary to clearly limit the topics of work in meetings to purely organizational issues, expressly prohibit the discussion of evaluation of specific candidates or adoption of any decisions on the merits outside of open meetings. I would like to say that we did not take into account this suggestion, and I will explain why. The Commission is committed to the principles of publicity, openness, and transparency, but the Commission is convinced that for productive work, there should be an opportunity for informal exchange of views and preparation for decision-making at meetings. And I would like to assure that all key issues will be discussed and adopted exclusively at open meetings of the Commission. Then there was a suggestion about clause 5.6, 5.7. We had a clause that was saying that a member of the Commission who has a conflict of interest with a candidate should take self-recusal. But there was an opportunity from, for example, the side of the candidate to initiate recusal of such member of the Commission, when in the opinion of the candidate there is a conflict of interest. Upon request of the ANTAC, we provided this opportunity for the candidate to request recusal of the Commission member. And you can see more detailed wording of this clause in the ROP. There was also a suggestion regarding clauses 4.6 and 11.3 of the draft rules of procedure, which was saying that after the work of the Commission, all documents have to be destroyed within a specific period of time. In the opinion of the CSO, that was not appropriate. We've partially taken into account. We removed these clauses from the rules of procedure of the Commission. But I would like to say that right now there is some sort of uncertainty in the Customs Code as to what should happen after the completion of the Commission's work. And powers of the Commission members expire as of the date when the Cabinet of Ministers adopts a decision on appointment of the head of the Customs Service. So in our opinion, there is some space right now which calls for legal comments, because if powers of Commission members expire, then who should be responsible for storage, destruction, or even transfer of documents to the Secretariat or some other organization? So once we get some legal consultations, we will take a decision about that. There was also a suggestion probably about clause 10.1 that there is a risk that during the competition process, the Commission may make changes that narrow the principles of publicity or change the rules of the game after announcement of the competition. There are no safeguards against such changes. In the draft rules of procedure, we've added a provision that in our activities, we are regulated by the principles of the rule of law, transparency, openness, and publicity. And I would like to assure that none of the provisions of our rules of procedure cannot contradict the current legislation. So I believe that we have partially taken into account. So that's briefly about those comments that we've received from civil society organization ANTAC, and about our interpretation of how they have been taken into account, partially in full or not taken into account in the rules of procedure suggested for adoption. I ask Commission members to comment on these suggestions and our approach to them, if you have any comments about that.
Коментарів не маю.
I have no comments. I believe that we can move on to the adoption of the rules of procedure. I support the suggestion of Andriy. The rules of procedure has been processed in detail. Most of the comments have been taken into account, so I suggest to vote for adoption of the rules of procedure.
May I ask for a comment on this document? Yes.
Sure.
Yes, first of all, I would like to thank all the civil society organizations and non-governmental organizations that sent their comments and proposals, and thanks Oleg for doing the good analysis of these comments and introducing the necessary changes. I believe this will increase integrity of the work of Commission and also transparency. And I think it is really important that we took into account this comment of Anti-Corruption Action Center on self-recusal and recusal of the Commission members. While looking at these changes that we made, I also spotted one translation error. I think it is more editorial nature in point 4.14.8. English version says that self-refusals and self-refusals, they repeat it twice, while it should read self-refusals and recusals instead. So I think we should make this correction before adopting the rules of procedure. Thank you.
I also would like to that we adopt the rules of procedure, and I agree with Arunas's comment. It's quite important that we clarify, and I'm glad we got comments on the recusal section of the rules of procedure. The law itself is not terribly clear, and the comments and our discussion, I think, helped clarify that for the Commission members. So it's important that we have both the Ukrainian and the English versions be quite clear. And so I fully endorse the rules of procedure with the change that Arunas suggests.
Thank you for all your comments. Oleg, do you have any feedback? I think
Я підтримую.
No, I support the suggested edit with the last comment of Arunas as well about the translation and the correction of this thing in the translation.
Well, thank you very much, first Oleg, for your detailed explanation, which reflects our discussion based on the comments. And all commissioners are in agreement that these rules of procedure presents a very good procedure with transparency and publicity. And so I would like to invite commissioners to adopt the rules of procedure with necessary check and adjustment in translation that Arunas has mentioned. Okay, so you have all endorsed. So now I declare that the rules of procedure adopted with that necessary check and adjustment. Thank you. Now I'm moving on to the next agenda item, that is the introduction of the draft rules of competition, again for the public comments. And I would like to note that in keeping Commission's commitment to transparency, all that the rules of competition has been already on the website of Cabinet of Ministers for comments. And also, I'd like to take this opportunity to join others to express my sincere thanks to to those speakers at the previous meeting on 8th of October, and some of them have submitted written comments on the expectation of the head of customs, qualities and competencies desirable and necessary for his or her job, and then the role of government, business, and other stakeholders for the new head of customs to fulfill his or her responsibilities. They are all very helpful in guiding our discussion on developing the rule of competition. Now, I would like to invite again Oleg to present the draft rules of competition. Oleg, you have the floor.
Дякую,
Thank
пане
you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening again. As Mr. Chair has mentioned, the draft of the procedure for the conduct of the competition, criteria and methodology of assessment of candidates has been published at the website of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. You can send your written suggestions by November 4. We will all process of all of your comments and suggestions. The document is quite extensive, detailed, and contains the procedures. And all of those who are interested in it, please look through the text of the document. But now I will present the overall logic of the document so that it might be easier for those who would like to analyze the document. This document has been developed according to the legislation of Ukraine and the best practices of transparent selection procedures. It determines the clear, structured, stage-by-stage process that shall ensure a transparent, fair, and justified selection of the candidate for such an important position. So key principles which we included in the document include transparency of the procedure, equal opportunities for all the candidates, objectivity of assessment, and as Mr. Chair, taking into account expectations of the civil society and international partners. What are the key stages of the competition? That is publication of announcement, acceptance of documents, check of compliance of candidates with formal requirements, conduct of stages of evaluation, and submission of recommendation of the Commission to the Ministry of Finance regarding appointment. Everything is described in detail in the document, but let me focus more on the process of testing and evaluation of candidates. So the procedure of testing and evaluation will consist of the following key stages. Firstly, that is testing of general abilities of candidates. Testing will be held with the use of computer equipment in the local network without access to the internet. We will have 3 blocks: verbal, abstract logical, and mathematical. Within the term specified in the document, samples of testing questions will be published at the website of the CMU. Then testing for the knowledge of legislation will be had. A full list of questions included into the testing after its adoption by the Commission will be published at the official website of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine not later than 14 calendar days before conduct of the testing. The system for each of the candidates will automatically generate the unique test consisting of 100 questions randomly. So out of the full list of questions, each of the candidates will get a slightly different list of questions for themselves. Then we'll have practical assignments for professional and practical skills and abilities. Practical assignments will be developed with involvement of experts from among academics, and a sample of practical assignment will be published at the website of the Cabinet of Ministers. After that, we will have completion of practical assignments for organizational and leadership qualities. Again, Upon request of the Commission, the assignment will be developed by academics. A sample of practical assignments will also be published at the website of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. After that, we will have evaluation of personal qualities. The Commission will conduct the evaluation of personal qualities by means of testing and interview with a psychologist. After that, a check of compliance with the integrity criterion will be conducted, and after that, there will be an interview with candidates. Interviews will consist of two parts. The first one is about compliance with the integrity criterion, and the second part of the interview will be dedicated to professional competence. Interviews will take place with audio and video recording. And by the way, just like all the testing, we will have audio and video recording of them as well. But interviews will also be broadcast live at the official website of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine. Again, I would like to say that the document is quite detailed. And what I've just mentioned is specified there in detail with a specification of terms, deadlines, and content. Those of you who are interested in that, please look through the document. And a huge request is to comment and to provide comments in writing to the email specified in the announcement by November 4. We will analyze them attentively, and if necessary, we will introduce edits, changes to the suggested draft of the document. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Oleg, for your comprehensive overview. Other commissioners, do you have any comments? Yes, David.
Yes, thank you, Oleg, for the excellent summary. I just wanted to emphasize a couple of points with the rules of the competition. First, the reform of the customs law laid out a very specific process for this selection, and the rules do their best to follow that law as closely as possible. But if there are comments where it looks like maybe we deviated, that would be quite helpful to receive any comments there. I also wanted to point out that this commission is learning from all our predecessors. So we have tried to design the rules of competition to learn the lessons from previous selection processes. I know that many of the stakeholders and civil society organizations have participated in those processes, so we would be we would welcome their learning and their comments on anything that could be improved in the rules of the competition. There are some limits set as to kind of the passing scores, and these are things that I think we're kind of open for discussion, but we did base them on the past practices from past commissions to try to be as open and as fair as possible while ensuring that we're getting excellent candidates through the process and into the interviewing stages. Last comment, the law makes very clear that when we review for integrity, we use a reasonableness standard, and we have done our best to reflect this in the rules of competition. This is a standard that I think has been established as the kind of golden rule now in Ukraine for these selection commissions. So I just wanted to highlight that we were very clear about that in the rules of competition. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you for your additional comments. Any other comments, interventions? There seems to be none. So thank you very much. I thank Oleg for his explanation and David's additional explanation. And now this agenda item of presenting the draft rules of competition is closed. Then I should add any other business. If any of the commissioners would like to raise an issue under this agenda item?
Ні, немає.
No, none.
Немає.
None.
I
None.
don't have any other.
Okay, thank you very much. As there are no further requests for intervention, I conclude this agenda item of any other business. And before closing, I would like to announce that the next meeting, that will be the fourth meeting of the Commission, will be held in early November. As Oleg has explained, when we receive the comments from you, from the public or civil society organization, we will review them and adjust the rules of competition as necessary. And with this, the adoption of the rules of competition, and hopefully we can launch the competition after the next meeting, which should be held in early November. And I hope that this calendar can hopefully give sufficient time to applicants to prepare and submit their necessary documents. Well, the detail of the next meeting will be published on the Cabinet of Ministers website. Well, with this, we completed all items on today's agenda. And on behalf of all commissioners, I would like to express appreciations to the representatives of international organizations, the public, media, and the journalists who followed this session, as well as the working group members, including interpreters, for their valuable support. Now, I'm closing this meeting. I would like to declare the meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you,
Дякую
Mr.
всім
Chair.
і до
Thank you,
зустрічі.
everyone, and see you soon.
Thank you,
Thank
colleagues.
you. Bye.
See you in a few weeks.